Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's son, Tim Howie. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. First of all, happy opening day, fellas.
Didn't turn out too well.
Opening day has come and gone. Timmy was nice enough to invite me to the game, and we had quite a nice time, though. Red Sox come back at the end, lose 10-9, but we'll start with Timmy. Timmy, that's misleading, the 10-9 score. They played poorly the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's picked right with us, right? I mean, to end similarly this season. And they look like a much better team today than the Red Sox, which is sad.
Yeah.
I mean, they had speed. We have no speed. They had our pitching was weak. Our defense was weak. Our catcher, the guys were stealing at will, not even throws being made. This is going to be a long season, gentlemen.
Can we talk about the change of the rules that changed the game, Uncle
Love
Joe?
it.
But to be honest with you, the rules, like Timmy said, that shows the most glaring is there's going to be a hell of a lot of stolen bases this year.
Oh, and a lot of base hits now without that shift. What did they have? Almost 30 hits today.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you something. It seemed like the ball was a rubber ball. I'm telling you, I saw a lot of the ball was traveling faster with simple swings than I had seen last year. Then a guy in front of us said that they manipulated the ball to start the season. It looks like that. Didn't it look like that?
That home run that came off the bat in the first base, I thought it was a fly out. It was like the back part of the bullpen.
Yeah, almost 400 feet.
Joe, coming off the bat did not appear to be much. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, the ball's juiced up. There's no question.
Well, because the ball is usually dead in April. With the cold weather, it doesn't travel as far. So maybe they are juicing up. Last year, they even admitted they were juicing the balls for Judge, so we could break the record.
I think they saw what we saw, that this game is heading for the dumpster unless they make some changes. The NHL, made the 3-on-3 in overtime. All these other leagues have made adaptations to those. The NFL changes the rules literally every year, right?
They change rules sometimes during the season, the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time MLB had anything?
Nothing. They haven't changed the rules since the
Shocking, the pitch clock. There is no dicking around anymore. It's like catcher throws it back, the guy gets on the mound, the batter gets in the box, pitch again.
Ask Rafael Devers.
Yeah, you got a strike call. I didn't notice that, but he got a first strike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They did that a couple of times. An Oriole got called on a strike.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they don't, of course, they don't leave the box. Like Timmy said, they don't leave the mound. So forgetting about the 8-second rule, the guy gets the ball back and he's throwing it. I mean, there's 13 seconds and he's already starting to throw it. So
if there's a man on first, they get 20 seconds.
Right.
So this game today took 3 hours, but last year this would have been 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely 4 hours. Like, it was shocking. Like, when a couple guys get on things even to slow down more. The guys looking over the first, the pitcher's looking over the first, the batter's really like prepping before he gets into the box, and really none of that. That's all over. It's like, get in the box, get ready for the pitch.
Over. And no arguing when the pitchers, a strike has been called because they didn't follow the rules. Nothing.
Because the clock is, while you're arguing, the clock is ticking.
How would Nomar Garciaparra have dealt with this?
We had to change all his. How about Big Papi?
Oh, Pedroia running around and taking his gloves on, off.
Carlton Fisk.
Those days are over.
No.
Those days are over.
But it's going to be good because, Tim, you can see that we can have 2.5-hour games easy.
I
don't know how it got to 3, Scotty, with the pace that it was going at.
Well, about 30 hits and a dozen walks. They had a lot of walks.
That's the reason. That because of the walks. That's why.
Look,
I mean, if you have a clean game, this game's got to be 2.5 hours.
This game is on Alex Cora and Chaim Bloom, but at first, Alex Cora, that team was not prepared to start the season today. They weren't. You can't have pitchers walking that many guys. You can't have a catcher who doesn't even know how to throw the bases.
That was the most walks he'd given up in his career, and he only pitched for like what 4 1/3 innings, and that was the most he'd ever given up in his entire career.
And you can say
walks absolutely kill. At any level, little league, high school, college, pros, walks kill.
And you can say the fans don't know shit about anything, but we've been saying, what the hell is Ryan Bergier still on this team for? What did you give him a guaranteed contract? And he gives up 3 runs in 1 inning.
And the other guy, Caleb Ward, everyone said the guy was a stiff. And he was. Yeah.
Gives up 2 runs.
We passed that article in the Globe. It was a very good article. Definitely Red Sox biased, I would say. But I don't know what mystical world Chaim Bloom's living in, where he thinks he's putting in systems. I mean, does he think he's changing baseball? I mean, we can all see it from a million miles away. He's making terrible decisions, and this is the result.
He has utility guys are his shortstop and his second baseman, and Arroyo and Kiki Hernandez. They are major league utility guys, and they're your starting double play combination.
And Scotty, a AAA catcher at best.
Absolutely, yeah.
His backup is even worse. Connor Wong, he can't do anything.
Milton High School had a catcher last year. He's playing in college now.
I texted you guys,
and then you see that Orioles catcher. Where he went 5 for 5.
Yeah, I didn't see that many pass balls all year from Milton High last year than this guy had in 1 game.
And Vasquez begged to come back as a free agent this year. Begged them. Was upset that they didn't even call.
Chaim didn't want anyone from the old regime in back. He's gotten rid of everyone except who? Sale, and I think there's one other.
That's insecurity. Wow, that's insecurity on his part.
Yes.
Yeah, look, a team a game, they didn't sell out. Right there shows there's no buzz. You have games like today, and nobody's buying any Red Sox tickets after opening day, when usually, of course, everyone's like, we got to start buying tickets.
Well, wouldn't you be buying, well, people are more interested right now. The Celtics playing the Bucks tonight, and the Bruins can clinch the President's Cup tonight. All they got to do is win the game.
Look, on the positive side, Yoshida looks like he's a player. I mean, he is a player. I mean, we saw that in the WBC. He had a great career in Japan. He played well in spring training. The kid can play. He's a good player. That was a good acquisition, and he didn't have to give up anything for him.
Well, he did come up short in the 9th inning there.
Right, but he played well. He looks like he can play. Yeah.
Joe, he's a little guy. You can see him standing.
He's very little.
Very little.
Look, but this team, again, there's so many holes. He's talked about up the middle. I had to introduce Timmy. I knew I would to the Red Sox center fielder and Adam Duvall. He's like nothing.
Who's this guy? Who's the catcher? Who's that guy over there?
Reese McGuire, Kiki Hernandez, and Adam Duvall. That is your up the middle. Which is supposed to be the key 3 positions in a baseball team, and that's basically Worcester.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what a last place team looks like, right?
Yeah,
it's a rebuild, no matter how you look at it. I guess supposedly Tom Werner was saying they want to go after Ohtani when he hits the market this year.
I heard that interview. You took that as you said. It sounded like he wants to go after him.
Yeah,
I didn't interpret it that way.
First of all, he's not allowed to talk about other players and other teams.
He said he's the greatest baseball player of his generation, and he's going to get paid a ton of money.
He can't say that he's going to give him the money.
No, how did you interpret that as him saying he wants to go after him?
Yeah.
How did you interpret it that way?
I can't believe the Angels. There's got to be no way the Angels let him walk. No way.
How can they pay him and Trout 40-50 million each?
Well, you have to. How can you not pay them?
Yeah.
And so he's going to.
Do the Angels make enough money out there for that?
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
you're an LA guy.
Yeah, I mean, but Artie Moreno, remember, he was going to try to sell the team, and then he just backed off.
Scotty, do they make anywhere near the revenue the Dodgers make?
No. This is, you go off an exit in for Angel Stadium and you're next to a bunch of strip malls. I mean, it's not an impressive place, but the LA Dodgers have an incredible sports TV contract that's worth like $1 billion. It's completely different animal.
So they're the team.
Dodgers are the team. Yes, it's the Dodgers and Lakers, and everybody else is fourth place. It doesn't matter. But how can you let Ohtani go? How are you going to let him go and then expect to field a team that moving forward?
He's an MVP candidate every year.
He's the best player in baseball. How would you let him walk?
Now, Tom Warner said he's the best baseball player he's seen in his life.
Yeah, I mean,
Mookie, look, we let Mookie walk.
Mookie's not anywhere near Ohtani. Come on, Mookie's a nice player.
So, I mean, one of the reasons, and we talked about this when Mookie, when the whole thing was going on.
Yeah.
Mookie's not a big guy either, and these kind of slightly built guys aren't built for durability, really. I mean, Mookie's done all right with it, but there's a lot of time left on his contract.
But when Russ's argument I think is the correct one. It's not that we got rid of Mookie Betts, fellas. It's that we didn't get enough for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, because
Verdugo, that's it.
Right. But if you had gotten Verdugo and a quality pitcher, a 15-game winner, I think you could
three guys who would be starting in your lineup in 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah, right.
That's really what I would have. That's really what I would have gone after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeter Downs turned out to be a stiff, and Connor Wong turned out to be a stiff.
Yeah, Jeter Downs was he was supposed to be the big guy in that deal.
Yeah.
But but Mookie Betts is a really nice player. Would you consider Mookie Betts a superstar?
Oh, yeah. He's an MVP.
All right. So you would. All right, Timmy?
I would, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He can put asses in the seats, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, would this team be a lot different right now if we had Xander Short and Mookie?
Well, a great part of that article that we talked about, I don't know if the people watching read it, the Red Sox have always had some cornerstone franchise players, whether the team was doing well or not doing well, you wanted to go and watch them play, whether it be Kaya Skremski,
Jim Ed Rice.
We've always had
Wade Boggs,
2 or 3 big time, everyone in the league knew their name players, what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that. I mean, maybe Devers is maybe in that category. I bet if you ask people who are casually acquainted with baseball, if they've ever heard of Rafael Devers, they'll say no. But in the old days, we always had somebody, if you said their name, just about everybody knew they were a Red Sox. Whether it be, Nomar or, Big Pappy or the list goes on and on.
So the Red Sox, like I said, texted, Red Sox are slow around the bases. The whole game-changing rule has been about stolen bases. Does it feel like we're going to be 2-0 before the game even started? Scores 2-0.
I mean,
well, the rules definitely, especially where the pitcher can't keep the guy close after he's thrown over. What is he allowed? 2 throw-overs?
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Oh, and that includes the catcher. The catcher can't throw down either.
The catcher can't either?
No.
So you
this
can't
is going to.
I thought that was the only.
You can pick them off, Tim, but you can only throw down twice too. So
you get 2 from the pitcher, 2 from the catcher.
Yeah.
You didn't see any pitch outs today.
At least that's what they said on TV today. That the catcher's limited too.
The throws weren't even being made.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. He was just standing up. It had already been stolen off the pitcher. That and it's like a foot less.
Yeah,
all those when they ever caught guys stealing, it was bang bang. Now you take away that 1 foot, 6 inches at each end. It's almost they have it stolen now.
But the Red Sox didn't figure that part of it out. I guess the Orioles figured it out. The Red Sox didn't figure it out.
Oh, because the base is bigger. That means it's close. Oh, they're close to each other. I didn't think
Yeah.
So that takes away. It was always a bang bang play. You had to have a perfect throw, perfect tag to get the guy. Now that foot is taken away. They should be able to get there every time.
also, a lot of times these guys overran the base, and you could get them on
Yeah.
tag them up that way. The base is so damn big now; they're not going to be doing any of that. Yeah, look, the game.
They didn't like sliding in feet first, because if their spikes grabbed it in the bag.
And now I hear they have extended gloves. Have you heard this? In college, I know they wear them.
Yeah.
They wear gloves that'll give themselves 2-3 inches longer.
I think they were given like an inch or two extra.
Yeah.
That is regulated, and it was only certain positions.
But we saw some hits today, Timmy and Joe, that because they weren't in the outfield, that got through the infield.
Oh yeah.
There's no question about it. Remember, they were always a couple of feet at least in the grass. We saw a couple, including Yoshida's hit, that gets fielded last year.
I bet you there's going to be 3 or 4 more singles per game between the two teams in almost every game this year.
But also more Texas leaguers, little droppers,
Oh yeah,
coming in, because these guys. Look, one time Adam Duvall completely dogged the play, didn't he, Timmy? And Kiki bailed him out.
Yeah.
He wasn't moving at all.
Duvall should have called. Maybe Kiki called him off. We don't know. But I thought that was the center fielder's play.
it's usually the outfielders play on those because he's coming in.
Yeah.
What did we see positive today?
Well, what we saw positive was the overall pick up the pace of the game, which dramatically needed to be happening.
No, but with the Red Sox, with the team.
Oh, with the Red Sox, Scotty, Yoshida, maybe he looks like a player.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing.
Cassis really didn't do anything. Looks like he's up there for walks, to tell you the truth.
He does have a great sense of the strike zone.
He does, Joe, but
don't
you want him hitting the ball?
Definitely. We've got a kid that size, but he gives the umpire an out because he's always checking his swing. He checks it, even when it's way outside, he looks like he's offering at it, and he almost makes the umpires call strikes against him when they're out of the zone.
From my perspective of him, it looked like he was and Scotty says he has a really good eye and
he does
strike zone. But it's almost like he's looking for walks when he goes to bat.
Well, how about this argument? Major league players moving forward, if they're not fast, does it matter if you're a doubles hitter anymore? I mean, wouldn't you rather have a guy who can get a walk and be on second base every time?
Scotty, that's a good point. Things are going to change.
The game is going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to be about athletes.
Even a guy like Cassis, who isn't really fleet of foot, given the new rules, he might be able to walk and take second each time.
I don't know if he's kind of lumbering.
No, Joe, he's very slow. I mean, that's
he is. That's why he's playing first base.
I don't see him swiping too many bases. I mean,
he should be able to move with those long
I'll
legs.
tell you what, this team is not built to take advantage of these new rules.
He's not. I mean, okay, Casas isn't going to steal any bases. Arroyo's not. Kiki's not. Devers is not. Reese McGuire's not. Yoshida, I don't know, does he have any speed? Adam Duvall's not. And Verdugo's not. I mean, Verdugo had 3 stolen bases last year? I mean, there's literally no stolen bases in a league that everybody's going to be stealing bases.
Didn't Hines say he wanted to get more athletic?
Yeah, where did he get it?
Well, they're probably their best base stealer. They sent down in Durant.
Right. This just feels like it's going to get worse. I know we just lost the first game. I completely understand. But even if we had come back, I would have had the same complaints that we had.
But overreaction is the thing. That's what we do. You overreact
We're looking at the fact of the new game, though, and we're looking at the skill set of the Red Sox is currently confident, and they're not a good mesh.
Would you say that the last time that rule changes have affected a game this dramatically would be the NBA 3-point line, or they didn't really shoot that many 3-pointers when it started? There weren't a ton initially shot.
Yeah, everyone still works for the 2.
worked for the 2 back then, right?
Yeah.
And
The 3 was only if you were way behind at the end of a game. That was it.
could you compare? So give me one rule change in the history of your watching sports, guys, that has been so dramatic as the changes we just saw for the first time today in a regular season game.
I don't know if I have this right, but not being able to hit the
The
wide
quarterback.
receiver football, the wide receivers.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
kinda-
yeah, right. That would be good answer. Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. That affected the game off for the offense dramatically.
NHL 3-on-3 in overtime, but that's only overtime games.
Yeah.
Overtime games. Right.
That was
And
one of
it's
my,
not-
one of my
and it's
favorite
not-
all-time favorite rule changes, though.
But that doesn't count in the playoffs. They take it away from you.
Yeah,
Right.
that is one of my all-time favorite rule changes.
Yeah.
Right. But other than that, that's a good one, Timmy. Can you think of any others? I can't. So
Quarterback,
You'd have to go back to like the 24-second rule.
yeah, right. The 24-second clock, right? That changed a lot. Yeah, great. Yeah.
And you know what's weird? All these things came at once.
Yeah.
You know, it's like boom,
Yeah.
a pitch clock. The
They were
the bigger, no shift. I mean, it's a lot to swallow all at once.
They were the result of that committee like that Theo was on. And I'm sure all the GMs in the league knew what they were discussing and what they were likely to come up with. And Heim should have been ahead of things and preparing for this day rather than fielding a team that's a year behind the rules.
So does speed become more like a
bigger
factor than it's ever been in baseball?
Ever. You're gonna have guys stealing 100+ bases.
Yeah, it'll be Maury Wills on every team.
There's no question. Well, we saw it today, right? I mean, guys stealing with 2 outs, just walking into third base. And then of course, if you notice, there was a pass ball. Next thing you know, they're scoring a run. You lose by a run. That costs you the game. It's remarkable. I think you're right, Timmy. Time did not make the adjustments to the new rules, and that's all on him. And
he seems to be he's late on free agents. He's late on signing players that we have and are coming up to free agency. He's misreading the market. He's misreading the changes in the talent and the skill sets that we're looking for in players. He's missing a lot of things.
Heimblum's going to be fired this year. I mean, this is we're just building up the case right now. I mean, it just keeps right. This keeps on trending.
I think you should delete that picture from your phone.
And when he gets fired, I might hire him because he's a great salesman. He just
takes a good picture too, Tim.
He just tries to sell it, man. He's just trying to sell it, and it looks like he believes what he's selling too.
Mark my word, the first time everyone's going to start bitching about the pitch clock will be once a Yankee or a Mets game is decided on a strike 3 call because Aaron Judge wasn't looking at the pitcher at the 8-second clock. Then the fucking rule's going to suck. Oh my God, it's the worst. Yeah. I can't believe it. But until then, people are going to like it a lot. Absolutely. But also as a fan watching the game, you can't take your eye off it, right?
I know. There's no more of that chit chat between pitches now.
No, you
better be watching because you're going to miss something.
No circling the mound and the batters going through their routines.
So it was rather shocking, because it's pitch, throw back to the pitcher, get ready, pitch again.
One thing I just thought of, you're really not looking down at the third base coach anymore for signs.
Oh, yeah.
What are they doing for signs now? You don't have time to look at him.
You used to come out of the box and look down and take the signs and look down again. And
does that kind of diffuse the whole third base coach sign thing?
But here's the thing, though.
I think it would depend if you're a lefty or a righty, where you're going to get your sign.
No, I've watched a lot of high school baseball lately. Those games are over 2.5 hours. They're only 7 innings, granted. But the players look down for signs. So why? That's a question I'm just coming up with right now. Why can they bang a game out in 2 hours, 2.5 hours in high school, and still be looking down for signs and things like that? But the majors weren't able to do that. They had
The major leagues were always able to do that for years and years and years.
Yeah.
It's only in the last couple decades that it's gone from a 2 hour 15-minute game to a 4 hour game.
Because what happened is you had the Daniel Navas of the world still fucking around after every pitch, the shitty pitchers walking around the mound every pitch. And that's, look, we won't mind when Big Poppy's up. He can spend 10 minutes up there. It's exciting. But the fucking, Christian Arroyos, what the fuck? Just get up there. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna pop up. That's all you do.
Put your bat and gloves on when you're in the dugout, when you're coming out to the on deck
there's no
circle.
mystery to any of that. All right, Fenway looked good. One thing I thought I don't know the whole MGM music hall. That's finally complete, and it seems like a great success. But as Timmy noticed, all of a sudden it's like this huge building. But Timmy, if you noticed, the flag at center field wasn't moving at all. But then all of a sudden the flag behind
was it half, Scotty? It wasn't half mast.
You think that affected
the flag in center was at half mast? That's why it wasn't blown.
Oh, you think that's the case?
Yeah, that would affect it for sure.
It would affect it, okay? Because that's a good point.
It was down below the level of the wall.
So okay, all right, because it just seemed like such a discrepancy, and I had not noticed that in the past.
Because in the later innings, the flag was stiff going. It looked like the wind was coming out of the northwest.
Yeah, it was a very windy day, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the flag in center field was blowing at the end of the game, Timmy.
It was. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was blowing in, I thought.
Oh, I didn't notice that flag move at all, Scott.
It'll just be interesting to see how the wind's going to.
I did notice the flag behind the plate was stiff pretty much the whole.
It'll be interesting to see what the MGM. It's going to affect the wind.
The players have been saying over the last 3-4 years how just the buildings like where the parking lot were have affected the way the winds in the park and the way the ball carries.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see. It was good to be back. It was good to see baseball. It was sure good to be in Section 30. That's the best seats in the house.
Great view of the game from Section 30.
And Joe, how many seats were empty around us? 15, 20?
20, 30, 25.
That section doesn't. You always get to put your feet up.
The guys from the Globe didn't show up next to us.
Yeah, they had.
So we get to stretch out a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's nice. You got a whole seat for a cup holder.
When's the last opening date you could ever stretch out?
Yeah, but now we know the rest of the season you're going to be able to stretch out.
It's going to be better.
If it's on an opening day, you're going to be able to stretch out pretty much anytime you want.
I know. It's like you literally have the section by yourself. I mean, come here. I mean, anybody wants to come visit, we're just like, come on over. We know there's guaranteed empty seats.
$50 seat versus a $50 seat,
Yeah, John Frankel came over, Joe, and we sat.
Oh, yeah.
Nice conversation.
Does he still buy that 20-pack? Or
he buys 10 packet? Yeah. So he bought 2 sets of seats, and he was gonna sell the other pair. He was gonna cover himself.
He won't cover himself this year, believe me.
So he last week he's like, "Do you just want to buy the seats from me?" No, I'm like, "No, I'm going with Timmy." And then he's like, "Do you have a friend who might want to go? Like I'll trade him for like a fucking apple,
a steak and cheese sub."
You couldn't give him a freak away. All right, well, we know we're not going undefeated, Joe. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's always tomorrow, but this is a question I asked Timmy.
We're just looking for 500, so we look like geniuses.
If they're 10-20 by the end of April, not only does Heim go, could Cora go too?
No, I think Heim's going to be the first to go, and then that's Cora's insurance ahead of him.
Is Cora not? I'm going to argue that Cora is not far behind Heim.
No, I think Cora's bulletproof. I think they like him as a manager. I think that they realize, if I was the management, I would realize, hey, this is one quote in that article that Cora said. It hasn't got much attention. he said, I used to. He says that all the people doing the predicting are predicting that we're going to have it finish at the bottom of the thing. And he said, if I had that job right now, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Did anyone catch that in that article?
Yeah, no, I know he said that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah,
That's an indictment of his bosses right there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's the way I read it.
He doesn't get to buy the groceries. He just he has to make a meal with what he's given, right?
Yeah. The only way he'll go, Scotty, is if Heim gets fired and the new GM demands as part of his hiring
right.
that he gets to pick his own manager.
Yeah. Well, it didn't go well today in any means. I'm sure Sam Kennedy say sales were brisk tonight, but we know better.
It wasn't even that good a comeback. It was more the Orioles were just sucked.
All right,
they kicked it away.
Sorry to digress here. I'm looking at StubHub right now. Monday, April 3rd, Pirates at Red Sox. Red Sox tickets starting at $9.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and it'll go down to maybe that's the new minimum. That may be the new minimum, 9.
Yeah. By the way, the Bruins are losing 1-0.
Now, the only way you're going to fill it now is when other stars from other cities, like when when the Angels are in town, I think that might be a hot ticket because people just want to see him.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that used to be back in the day. That's what they did, Timmy. They would advertise in the program the stars that were coming in for the next
the other team.
Yeah,
I can remember the days, the old days. They'd get only 5,000-6,000 there. You'd pay for a standing room only ticket and then go sit behind the dugout.
Well, that's what I started doing with the Celtics. Like, why buy a good seat? You can walk down and sit anywhere you wanted. That's not that,
They won't let you do that so much anymore, though.
They have a Wednesday travel day afternoon game this week against the Pirates. That could be really low attendance one. That could be really, really, the kids in school and stuff. That's not going to be pretty.
All right. So if you're the general manager, if the general manager doesn't even do anything, so we can't blame. I don't know how much we can blame Brian Halloran. What would your plan be to get this ship back on course?
Well, it's a little too late now as far as this season goes. I mean, you knew you had shitty personnel, and you still put them out there.
Yeah, this roster is kind of cooked, and it doesn't look like they've got much down on the farm coming up to replace him. It looks like the farm is 2 or 3 years away at best.
Would you say this lineup? Well, obviously it's Minders and the Bogarts. Would you say this lineup is worse than last year's lineup?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I did too.
Without JD Martinez, without Vasquez. I mean, this Reese McGuire thing, I don't understand how you could go into the season in the offseason and think Reese McGuire was going to be your starting catcher
and be effective.
Yeah, I mean, what I think you're going to end up seeing Connor Wong because I think maybe defensively he's better. Or he could be.
I think he is. He doesn't have much of an arm though, so that's not going to be much of a help there. With the new rule changes, but and he doesn't have much of a bat, that's for sure.
Oh my God!
Maybe they'll bring up that kid with all the hair. Alfaro is his name?
But he's a terrible catcher, Joe.
Yeah, they say he's bad defensively.
He can't, and now we know a defensive catcher is worth gold now.
No.
Now you can't put a guy like that, or they're just going to run bases like crazy. This is going to be very interesting. This was a miscalculation of the market.
Should we get Sandy Leon back?
Yeah, he's available.
He is.
I know. I saw that. Yes, he is. Sandy Leon will always be available.
Yeah. Because how many times did we watch him strike out? I can remember one game we went higher at. They had the Sox that were down by 1, runners at like second and third, 2 outs, and Sandy Leon came up and he said, "Okay, let's leave." And he struck out.
Oh! If you got 0-2 and you could just roll it up there and he'd swing. I mean, that was a given. The next pitch was going to be in the dirt and he was going to swing. Yeah, just a stiff ball time. All right, we're going to go to the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick this week in a press conference defended his last season and this season's lack of personnel moves by saying, well, look how good we've been the last 25 years.
It's not the first time I've heard him say that either. He's like, well, you're going to give the fans something to cheer about. Wow, look what I did the last 25 years.
Mm.
Yeah, he's starting.
He wouldn't allow his players to say that, though, would he?
No.
Oh no, it's all one game at a time. One game at a time. We're all.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Is what he says to the players, but he doesn't think that. I'm not saying I'm not a Belichick fan, but
that's management everywhere.
He wants different for him than he has for his own players.
Bob Kraft said that he wants Mayo to be the next head coach of the Patriots. He basically said that.
Pretty much.
He said he's good. I want him to keep him here, and he's going to be
a strong candidate to be.
Okay, so I'm thinking that could Belichick be replaced during the course of? He's going to be replaced by Mayo one way or the other.
Scott,
I have to wait till the whole season, or would he replace?
I think Belichick has done a lot of great things for this program. We had a tremendous run there. If I own the Patriots, I at least let him have a legitimate shot at getting the all-time win record.
Oh my God!
19 more wins, right? What's that? 2 more seasons.
Oh, but remember, he started hot with 3 Super Bowls. Then there was 10 years with nothing, right?
But Joe, they were contending.
Then there was 3 more Super Bowls. Now maybe we're in another.
But Joe, even those we had great years. Yeah. Even when we didn't.
But some of them were very surprising, like 2006 and 2011. We won. 2006 we didn't get to the Super Bowl, but 2011 we got to the Super Bowl. They had a crappy team. Remember how bad they were?
We went 19-0 and didn't win the Super Bowl, though, right? I mean, there were a lot of good seasons in there, right?
But Kraft is not going to. If they don't make the playoffs, Kraft has basically said.
No, I think he'll let him, Scotty. I think he's going to let him stick around to get the win.
Yeah.
Total.
Then they'll pull. Then they'll have to pull like an old Bobby Bowden thing, and they'll say, "Would you agree that they'll say Gerard Mayo will be the coach after?"
Wait a second here, Scotty. Are you giving up on Belichick as a coach?
Well, I think that look, he's 70 years old, and I think that that's very difficult position to have at a certain age, and I think that he should move on, and that.
No, I don't agree.
I think he's got it down pretty solid. He knows how to run things by now. He's kind of figured it out after 50 years in the business.
Then explain to me Matt Patricia is the offensive coordinator.
Well, that's
Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft brought him in here, and that was Bob Kraft's boy. Just like Mac Jones, with that choice was not Belichick's, and you know it.
Joe Judge is the one that bugs me more than Patricia, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think he's horrible.
Yeah, what was he the quarterback coach for?
I don't know.
What was his...
that is a legitimate gripe against Belichick. Absolutely.
So, but Joe, Kraft did not take any responsibility for Patricia and Judge.
What do you think he would?
Right.
He doesn't take responsibility for anything. He spent millions to erase that and get a hold of the tapes down there in Florida. He's the owner. He doesn't take responsibility. He only takes cheers. That's all.
Do you know how quickly Belichick would be snapped up if he went on the open market?
So fast, because he'd sell tickets. He'd sell out any stadium in the.
It would be like Parcells coming to the Patriots.
So you think if the Patriots go 6-11, Belichick's fine?
I don't know if he's fine.
Oh no, we'll be screaming for his head, but it won't happen.
I believe in a little bit of loyalty in this world, and I would let him stay long enough to get the win title.
Okay, but Timmy, that could be year 3. Moving forward.
Might be year 3. I mean, we've been a little spoiled around here with how often we win Super Bowls. I mean, maybe we're just, we have Mac Jones is a mediocre quarterback. Maybe we're just in for some years of mediocrity here. I mean, a lot of NFL teams have to dwell in that space for a while.
Oh, please. No, I don't want to.
I don't know if there's any other coach that's just going to come in here and turn this staff,
Well, football is hard to turn around. You got to have the talent. Like in all sports, you have to have a good base of talent. And right now, they don't have a lot of talent on that roster.
Starting with a very, very good quarterback,
that's the biggest help right there is having a Dan Marino can make a crappy team a good team,
You know,
know?
a couple of freaks on the defensive line who just play out of their mind. And
Well, I'm all in for Lamar Jackson. Why wouldn't I be?
Because Bob Kraft won't pay him. You know that. And the owners aren't going to give him what he wants.
Scotty, let's say you do DraftKings once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get $50,000. Okay, you know, you get this one player up here that costs, you get to pick 10 guys. The average is 5,000 a piece. Are you going to spend, 20,000 of it on one player, and that leaves you
Yes.
crap for the rest of everything?
Timmy, the quarterback position is the most important position.
Every week, Scotty, if you do that, because the other guys are going to get more points.
Look, in quarterback's the most important position in all of sports.
He gets hurt. He gets hurt a lot, Scotty.
I know he does.
The way his style of play is not conducive to him staying on the field. We've seen that in the past with these quarterbacks that run all over the place.
Look,
right? He wants a guaranteed contract. He's not going to take anything less.
Well,
so
the coach
around this guy for 6 years or 7 years, and there's going to be nothing you can do about it if he goes down.
Well, no, I disagree there, because just look at Patrick Mahomes was that kind of quarterback. Andy Reid said, "No, we're not going to go for that. You're going to stay in the pocket now. You're going to become a pocket passer.
Well,
you're going to throw it away." So
they
changed Patrick Mahomes from being the same as Lamar Jackson. It was the coach's decision.
All right, but Joe, I don't think he throws the ball like Mahomes, nor does he have a head for the game like Mahomes does. I think
he's got just as good an arm. I don't think he can pull off those underhanded behind or left.
A lot of it's up here too, Joe. Where the receivers got to be and what we do.
Will Lamar Jackson in the next 5 years, whatever team he's on, win a Super Bowl?
It all depends on what team and what coach he gets up with.
Scotty, given that throwing that much of your, you guys say the salary cap is a joke and you can get around it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you could surround him with enough talent when you have to give one guy that much money.
It's hard. That's what, building a roster in football is very hard, because it is 11 people one person screws up in the 11 people and the play goes nowhere,
And the injury, everyone gets hurt in the NFL. Everybody, especially if you're playing with that crazy abandon. And a lot of his effectiveness is his running game. So you take that out of it. If you're basing him just on his, as a pocket passer, would you give him that kind of money?
That's, I don't know. I mean, no, that's not, that's, but that's,
so you're saying, they took Mahomes and they said, well, don't run around so much. Okay. If you say that to Lamar Jackson, so now where does he rate as a quarterback?
But then you look at the other running quarterbacks. Josh Allen runs just as much.
Josh Allen is a freaking Clydesdale.
They're both the same size. Jalen Hurts.
He's not built like Josh. Josh Allen's like 240, right? 250.
Yeah, he's a big guy. But he loves the contact, Joe, which is a real negative with Josh Allen.
Jalen Hurts, the other
young Joe. He's young. Let's see how long he lasts.
Tua, look at Tua likes the contact, and
he got this season. I'll tell you right now. And that guy. Who did you say? What's his name there for Chicago?
Fields. Justin Fields.
Yeah. These runners, couple of years we saw with RG3, it's great, but
RG3 is the only one it's happened to, though. Only one you can think of.
Yeah.
Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Jackson, they're all still in the league.
Well, to build on Timmy's argument, Joe, Allen was not the same player at the end of the season because of all the hits he had taken.
I agree. I think it was mostly the Buffalo defense was terrible down the stretch, and the Bills had to go 80 yards every time. Every time they would start, same as the Patriots. That was one of the toughest things about the Patriots offense, is their special teams left them in that boat there. They were always going 80, 85 yards if they wanted to score.
But Timmy, you're right. It's tough for a quarterback playing like that to ultimately play 20 games without getting hurt. It's very
Oh,
difficult.
yeah.
Guaranteed money.
Jackson has never done it either. He's gotten hurt I think every year.
Well,
You know,
look, maybe
he's looking for that money that Houston quarterback got, the Cleveland.
yeah, the
Deshaun
Deshaun Watson.
Watson.
Yeah,
I mean, every owner in the if they could legally kill somebody, that guy, the NFL owners would have him.
Well, that's why Jackson's not going to get it, because they all circle the
And
wagon
let me
and
tell
say,
you, Bill Belichick's part of the old boy club over there.
Yeah.
He's not going to rock the boat and sign a contract like that.
No.
He's part of the
well, no,
Illuminati.
I think at the owners' meeting they all
Yeah.
took a picky swear to say
They gave
we
him
will
they
not
gave
do
him
it.
they gave him a blanket party at the owners meeting. They're like, fuck, what the fuck are you doing? You
I
know,
know.
cut the
Look,
shit.
Look, it looks like the Patriots are trying out every wide receiver for that first round pick that they can possibly find. If the smoke is fire, it looks like they're picking a wide receiver.
That kid from BC's right at the top of the pile, right?
Flowers, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it sure and shit. Every time whatever
I know.
the visitation is, he goes the opposite way when it comes to draft day.
Oh, he's gonna pick some kid from.
Remember when he snook at Josh McDaniels that time with what's his name? That awful quarterback from Florida. Tebow. Remember
yeah.
he snook at
Yeah.
McDaniels.
They're gonna get some guy from Southern Middlesex Junior College or something, you know.
Well, let's be honest. I have to admit the Duger deal. Remember when he picked
Yeah.
up Duger
Yeah.
and from what was it, like a Division 2 or 3 school?
Three.
And we were like,
this year our offensive linemen, we're all like, who? What? You know, he turned out okay, but you know, the argument is, could we have got him in the 4th round? You know,
Duger? No, I don't think so.
No, the offensive lineman we took this year.
No, he
Strange.
wouldn't have lasted
No,
even.
he
to
would
the
have definitely
second.
gone the second round. No,
We wouldn't have got him.
But
Yeah.
most draft boards had him in the 3rd or 4th, right?
No,
No,
they
I
had
think
him like second.
yeah, he would have been a second round pick.
That's the only thing that you shake your head at. He picks guys that you think he could get later. You know, he
Well, his attitude is he has the guy he wants,
Yeah.
and he won't get him in the second round. He'll be gone by then, so he takes him first.
Yeah.
Same thing in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. He'll take a guy ahead of what the draft nicks like him for. But
well, the positive thing is we've had a couple of good drafts in a row. It appears, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we missed out on a few before that, so we're kind of.
Well, I think it was because the roster was in such disarray, and that Brady's last 2 years when they were trying to kowtow to him, they let that roster go to shit.
And I'm now all of a sudden I've moved away from offensive tackle to I want some pizzazz. I do want a wide receiver. I want a guy that we could get excited about.
Well, we would want one if we didn't know the track record for this team for picking wide receivers.
Yeah, look, all you have to do is look at last year's draft. They could have taken Pickens. Everyone thought they were going to take Pickens. They took Thornton. I don't know. I guess we'll give him one more year, but he didn't look like anything.
You know,
he didn't show.
If we could get Pittsburgh wide receiver evaluated up here,
Yeah, Pickens looks like he's a big star.
Yeah.
Thornton, I'd never even noticed that he was ever on the field.
I know.
Well, you got to give it to the Steelers spend a lot on wide receivers. If you go back and look at their draft history, they draft 3 or 4 times as many as the Patriots have. They're bound to hit on more. Plus, I think their coaches develop them better.
Well, look, Timmy, we took in Schuster, we took an old Steeler.
Yeah, an old Steeler.
I know, definitely let them pick it, and we'll give them
wide receivers come to die,
and we'll give them street free agent defensive backs. We're good at that.
We're real good at that.
We're really good. We find those
pick
guys.
receivers like we pick street free agent quarterbacks would be gold.
Oh my God! When's the last time we had we drafted a good wide receiver? Would be Deion Branch.
Maybe.
And we have
everyone else that's been good. We got through free agency or trades.
We got lucky with our slot. We've been lucky with our slot receivers. We've hit gold there, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Edelman was a quarterback coming out of Kent
Yeah,
State.
but he was drafted not to be a quarterback, but to be a receiver.
I mean,
And
he
Wes
was
Welker before him,
those two. You know, we got him from the Dolphins, but Edelman was a grand slam.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you couldn't ask for more than what he gave us.
Yeah,
Welker
great
was-
attitude too.
Welker was a great deal. What was that for a second and
Tremendous.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got him in the what round?
we traded a second and 7.
Edelman was a 6th-round pick.
Sixth round pick.
Yeah, from Kent State. All right, we're going to the Celtics, and I don't know, boys.
Well, they're
If
playing right
fully
now.
healthy, I think maybe, but it just doesn't seem like we're organized enough. I don't know. Does that make sense? And also, I want to make this prediction on tape. Grant Williams will be the reason that we get eliminated.
Well, yeah, I don't think you have to worry about Grant being on the team after this year, but
No, but this year,
I didn't catch the last
this
game. What did he? I didn't catch the last game. What shenanigans was he up to?
Grant Williams,
oh, he's just being stupid.
he's just terrible. He's the stupidest player in the NBA.
But such a smart man, too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how smart he is, but he's the stupidest guy in the team. It seems like he was so stupid. He should have signed that 4-year, $50 million contract, because there's no way he's getting that.
He might get it for another team, but the other team is really getting a pig in a poke because he's not a starting caliber player. And now, if you're paying big money, you're gonna have to start him. It'll be like Kelly. Remember, they signed him to the big contract, then they found out he wasn't a starter. He's been on benches ever since.
His skills have diminished so greatly, Tim, during the course of the season. I think he's almost unplayable.
You know, more so than his skills is his barking at the refs, which just is, you know, especially when you go to the game. Like, they don't have the camera on him on the game. Fucking guy just barks at the ref. All between timeouts, commercial breaks, he's just yapping. It's like, shut the fuck up. Get away from the referee.
What do you think in the playoff rotation? Where do you think he fits?
Well, you know, is he hitting the threes or not? That's his value, right? That corner 3.
Only when it's uncontested. If it's contested, he can't shoot it.
But
you think that's where his value is?
He showed some value last year, and he showed a lot of value in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but now the league knows that he can hit the uncontested one. So now they go out and they jump, and he misses.
Well, if that's the case, then
Well, I think defensively he's been a wreck for the last few months.
He's just one of those tweeners. He's too short to play against the big guys, except, for giving 5-6 fouls. And he's not fast enough to keep up with the smaller guys.
So would we
He's just
say that
in between?
He's a guy like that couldn't hit the curveball, but nobody was throwing him curveballs. Now the league knows that he can't hit the curveball.
Yeah.
Curveball.
Yeah, great. That's a great comparison.
Because he can't drive to the hoop. Every time he pulls, if he gets that corner 3 and someone comes out and he pulls it down and drives, he ends up behind the backboard in no man's land. And he turns it over.
And he doesn't seem like the most popular guy amongst his teammates either.
I don't know about that. I think they like him. I mean, he is the vice president of the union.
Well, there was some yapping going on in games though with him and other players though, right?
Well, because he's in everybody's business. He won't shut the fuck up. And I'm sure they, at times they find him amusing, but at times it's like he's just an annoying, like, younger brother. Just go away. And he doesn't. I don't think he gets those social cues.
I wonder if the other players get annoyed as much, going like, "Hey, get out of the ref's face. You're not making any friends here for us." You know what I mean?
I've seen Brown say something to him about it.
I'm not a professional ref by any means, but I've reffed a million hockey games. And if you think you're going to get a better call from me by yapping at me all game, you are sorely mistaken.
Yeah. I don't think Al Horford likes Williams. If you notice, he stays away from him.
Well, Al's such a pro, such a classy guy. He's like, buddy, you're going down there like this you shouldn't be conducting yourself like this.
Horford really takes care of Jaylen Brown, always tries to stroke his ego and stuff. He just stays away from Grant Williams because Grant Williams is a pain in the fucking ass. And that's why Brad Stevens didn't sign him. Stevens could have gone up a couple million and sewed him up. Brad Stevens knows what a pain in the ass he is too.
Yeah, I think he's done. Hope we get a good playoff series out of him. but I will not be upset if he's not on the roster next year.
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is he's so talented, but so fragile. He just, he's such a little sensitive guy.
What I love about Jaylen Brown, though, he steps up.
The bigger the game, the bigger he plays.
Exactly, Joe. The bigger the game, like he doesn't wilt, man. And I see Tatum wilt in a lot of these situations. That guy, like when the going gets tough, Jaylen Brown gets going.
Well, you'll notice a lot of games, and especially in the playoffs last year, we'll get down by 12 points, and here comes Jaylen himself. He'll reel off 8 points.
He'll start taking it to the hole when they get into this little three funk. You know what I mean? When they're missing. He'll take it to the hole. He'll stop playing real basketball instead of 3-point basketball.
Yeah, the reason why he gets hurt a lot is his game is where Tatum will finesse his way to the hoop. He bulls his way to the hoop a lot of time just on sheer strength. He'll just run right through people. And that's not good for your body in the long run.
I feel like
he's such a freaking athlete. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown reminds me of Pierce. Would you say that?
A little bit.
A little mid-range game.
I think he's a lot more athletic than Pierce, though.
Yeah.
Well, Pierce is pretty athletic.
Yeah.
Pierce is a little.
He does have that mid-range floater that Pierce had.
That mid-range game. And they're both, Pierce was as tough as nails. As tough as a Celtic has ever been. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. I remember those battles with LeBron. It was, he'd go toe-to-toe with LeBron game after game.
Yeah, I would compare. Would you compare Jaylen Brown's game with more Pierce than Tatum's game with Pierce?
You know what I would say, if
Definitely.
there was a middle point between Tatum and Pierce, or Tatum and Brown, I'd put Paul Pierce right in there. I think Pierce has some Tatum in him and some Brown in him.
Can we compare anybody to Jason Tatum in the history of the Celtics?
No, not really. He's so athletic and so graceful.
So long.
Yeah, we really haven't had a
at
guy
6'10", to be able to do the things he does is
almost like if you put a computer,
like a gazelle,
making a cyborg basketball player, outward pop Jason Tatum kind of,
But geez, he's been terrible from 3 for at least 2 months now.
His team is
awful. Going 0 for 9, 0 for 12. Yeah,
that wrist. It's the wrist.
Wrist, Scott, do you think?
Yeah, I think absolutely.
Then why are you taking 10 3-pointers a game?
Season and let that thing heal. I mean,
Joe, you're taking that to protect the wrist.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to drive the basket and get hit.
Just hearing about Pierce's wrist the whole series, I mean,
we know those.
We need him. We need him hitting threes. That's his game.
Such a gentle little bone. I mean, these are little bones in your wrist. I mean, it's tough. We see baseball players, it ruins their season.
Yeah.
Can we rest him? Can we just sit him down? Let it get better?
Well, that's what he did in the offseason, where instead of having an operation, it didn't seem to work.
Well, Missoula
didn't work.
A few games ago, the Celtics were up by 28 points, and he's sending the fellas the starting 5 still back out there.
Well, that's Missoula. He lets them. They want to get the 40 points or the triple double, and Missoula lets them instead of saying sit down. That stuff doesn't mean shit.
You think Ime would be doing the same thing?
No.
He
lets Smart and Tatum do whatever they want, even when they're not even playing. Smart's only been playing like 10% of the time this year, but Missoula lets him still stay out there while he's just coasting around doing nothing.
Ime's the adult in the room. Missoula's he's like a kid brother, another kid brother thing.
They still treat him like an assistant coach, kind of. Yeah. He hasn't risen to head coach level in their minds, I don't think.
Ime could have just kept it in his pants.
Yeah, right.
It's a shame.
Oh, boys, hold on a second. I'm having problems. I can't see you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh. Yeah, but the Celtics are up by 3, although Giannis just jammed Tatum. He just stuffed him so bad.
Who's that?
Tatum was going in for a layup, and Giannis came out of nowhere and just smoked it.
Really? I'll put Stream East on here.
All right, boys, we go to the Bruins. Can you see me right
I
now?
can see.
Yeah, we see you fine.
Because I can't see you guys.
That's happened to me before too. I hit a button, the wrong button, and then somehow if you click around enough, you find it back.
Well, you're looking fine. There's nothing wrong.
Okay, that's funny because I cannot see you guys. That's so bizarre. All
Well,
right,
you can work blind.
of course I can. We finish up with the Bruins, and I tell you something. First of all, Montgomery talked about Hathaway in terms that you just don't hear. He said that Hathaway's like a big bad Bruin. That's pretty good for a guy who's only been here a month.
He's looking good. He's fighting. He's scoring. He's doing all the things. Sticking up for guys.
So it sounds like he's going to be.
That's the way the playoffs go. It gets a lot more rugged in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like he's a guy that they're going to probably want to keep long term too.
Yeah, they seem to have
And he'll be cheap too. He's not an expensive guy.
Yeah. Can you see them trying to re-sign Bertuzzi, Orlov, and Hathaway? Do you think that's even in the plan?
I think Orlov would be the number one guy to try to go after. I mean,
How about Bertuzzi?
Those good defense. Bertuzzi, I like him to bring a little, the word snarl to the playoffs. I'm not really that enamored with him at this point, his game. I do like, his feistiness, and I think we needed a guy like that going into the playoffs, but doesn't really make it. I wouldn't go and spend a lot of money on him.
Okay, so it sounds like Orlov and Hathaway would be guys you'd like to see move.
Orlov 1, Hathaway 2. Bertuzzi, if we get him on the cheap, keep him.
Yeah,
You're not going to get him on the cheap, so that's.
I don't think so, but I think
we did give a lot up for him though. We gave a first round, a late first round draft pickup for him. But so I guess you probably like to keep him long term if you gave that up, right? I mean, but they probably have some guys in Providence that they're interested in.
But this is the thing.
Get a lot cheaper.
If you sign these guys now to future, contracts moving forward, then all of a sudden you could trade one of them if you wanted.
Yeah, but it's like Timmy's DraftKings analogy. You can't sign them all. It is a hard cap in hockey. There's no fooling around, no mid-level exceptions, no restructuring deals so the money is paid out at different levels. It's a hard cap.
You wonder if they're going to try to make a spot for LaSalle. I don't know how close he is to coming up. I saw a kid came up. He played. I forget his name. He played a hell of a freaking game the other night, though.
Lauso or something.
Yeah.
He looked freaking good, man. He had a goal.
He's playing tonight too. He's playing tonight too.
So the Bruins' future looks good.
I would say. I think they're pretty solid. They got to be contending a little while, even if we lose the first round. I think they're on some round right now.
Joe, I mentioned this to Timmy today. If the Bruins win the Cup, could they possibly be considered the greatest NHL team for 1 year in the history of the NHL?
It all depends on how they win. If they go like Moses Malone, full.
Well, they're not going to do that, but that doesn't.
But if they did, then they would be.
Well, nobody's going to do that. That's really. I mean, but if they cruise in a sense that
they're all 5-game series, yes, they might. People might talk about them in that way.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable. Do we remember?
There were there was a lot of good teams, with the Penguins, the Canadians,
and some of those 70s Canadians teams. Yeah. Forget about it.
They were so loaded with
that they have
Savants and
Hall of Fame defensemen.
Yeah,
and those
Robinson might be my favorite, other than Bobby Orr of all time.
Yeah, I mean, those Canadians teams were so. Scotty, would they be in the conversation?
The Islanders have had some great teams there.
I'll say this,
the Flyers.
The Bruins are winning right now. They've been outplayed probably the last 5 games I've been last week. They've been outplayed. The goalies have won the games. So they were dominating games the entire game earlier in the season right
Oh,
now.
that's something I want to ask you both. But Tim, you especially, what do you make of this? They got Almach playing again tonight. No, no playing back to back. Is it that he really wants to clinch this?
Maybe Swayman tweak something.
Well, I think he wants to get him ready for the playoffs, and it's every other day.
But yeah, maybe he's gonna go with I thought they might continue alternating.
A sore elbow or something, and hey, rest it. I don't know.
Yeah,
They
haven't mentioned anything on the no injury report.
Maybe he wants to wrap it up. But our goaltending right now is as good as I have seen ever in my life, I think. Right?
How exhausted? I know this is a crazy question. How exhausted do goaltenders get?
It's mentally exhausting.
Right.
You saw what playing in the playoffs did to Jason Tatum last year. He just couldn't bring it anymore when he got to the finals. He just didn't have it in him. And that happened. Goalies have to be so hyper-focused.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That it's mentally draining.
That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Also, weird. Some of these great goaltenders, even to this day, are pretty bulky, kind of little heavy-set guys. Omar and Swayman are pretty skinny.
Yeah.
And I always felt like that hurt Rask. The same situation where he would wear out because he just didn't have any extra.
I don't think we have two goalies. Two very good. I'd give the nod to Almach, obviously, this year, but Swayman's not far behind.
Well above average.
I would say that we are on solid ground right now with the goaltending.
And moving forward, how long do we have Almach signed for?
At least, I think 2 more years.
Yeah. No, I mean look.
He has to win the Vezina Trophy.
Well, maybe it was Oh yeah, he's going to win the Vezina, but no, I think it was a 3-year deal, so maybe next year too.
Yeah. Well, it's we weren't even talking positive about this season, and we were talking about the future looked dim. Things have sure changed, fellas.
Well, Almach didn't look so good last year, and Swayman definitely didn't look good last year.
Yeah, well, we were ripping in the Almach, like, why did Sweeney sign him?
No.
Because remember, we let another goaltender who played well. What was his name?
Oh, I forget it. But he has played well. And Swayman started the season looking good and then went right to shit. And he was terrible for a long stretch last year. Then came on a little at the end.
Don't we have another good prospect goalie in Providence?
I think we do.
Sure. But I don't think he's going to see the ice for a while up here.
Yeah.
He's going to be trade bait.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trading him for, though.
I would like to.
Well, you can always get something good for a goalie. Goalies that are they're like snipers, like Pasternak's. They're hard to find. The Haseks and the Brodeurs, they're almost impossible to find.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is give up a goaltender and then have to stare at him for 15 years, Joseph.
Oh, well, a lot of teams have made that mistake.
Yeah, that Toronto gave us Rask.
Yeah.
All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. That was fun. We missed, of course, the professor. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.